one sign and the police showed up. This sort of started a couple of days ago here when a shopkeeper put up a sign. His name's Rob Davies. Let me just show you who this gentleman is a second. Here he is here. This is Rob Davies. He put up a sign in his store. And this sign, in fact, I've got it here. Let me read this to you and I'll tell you the impact of this now. It said, "Due to scumbags shoplifting, please ask for assistance to open the cabinets," with a very nice thank you. So he did say thank you. He thanked people. That's how it started, this whole thing there. I've got to tell you how this is now escalated, because it's pretty unbelievable what's actually taken place. It's so difficult to get the police out when an actual crime has been committed. I was going through the crime stats today as to how a lot of them don't even get investigated. And since this has all happened and people have come to the defense of this shopkeeper in Wales, all of a sudden, have you noticed all the articles today about the typical shoplifter? I haven't seen any of these, and all of a sudden I've seen 5 of them today. I made a few notes. White, blonde, typical shoplifter. Names her instantly. Kaylee Bradley from Liverpool actually names, this is a Telegraph article. I thought this was almost unbelievable. Now, we'll get on to the Waitrose article and a few others here and what the government is now advising since this sign, and they've lost control of the situation. So a shopkeeper has said he will not remove signs referring to scumbag shoplifters, despite suggestions they could be offensive and could land him in hot water. He placed his notices in his Run Ragged vintage shop in Wrexham, informing customers basically what we said about the sign. He's run the store for 5 years, and in the last month alone, £200 worth of stock has been stolen. He's reported it, and the police haven't even come out. But as soon as he puts up his sign on his cabinet, all of a sudden, the police show up to his shop to question him and advise him that he should take down his sign, because some people could deem it unsafe and they could get offended by the sign. He said he got a very positive reaction and support from locals, but even despite that, the police have visited him. He said he had to take this difficult decision to lock his cabinets in the first place, and he's basically said, I thought this was quite funny, if you identify with being a scumbag and are offended by this, then you're obviously looking to steal. Otherwise, you wouldn't be offended by that. The police have said again, he shouldn't be making statements at the moment, etc. It could make the situation even worse. I just think this is absolutely crazy, the world we're living in now, with all these acts that are coming in. And actually, let's go on to this one before I go on to what the advice is now. So they've done all these big stories now ever since that to show all the typical shoplifters. Just mentioned this lady from Liverpool. What I think's funny about this whole thing, I'm not going to defend her in any way, because actually I think at this point she should have been jailed with all of this. This is a 12-year crime spree where the courts have just let her off time and time again, 4 times, 128 offences in 12 years. This latest one was such a large amount, £4,000, that they finally decided to take action and jail her. Well, why don't they take action and jail people before that? They see it as, you see, this is the situation in Britain now, broken Britain, because they are not prosecuting, and because they're not dealing with the crimes and things like that, and it's soft on crime, it's attracting so many people now who are committing all of these crimes in the country. Even British people are committing these crimes now. She tried to escape jail for the 5th time, citing her childhood, saying she needed to spend more time with her 12-year-old son. However, what did the judge say? He said, why keep stealing if you want to spend time with your son? It doesn't make any sense. And he talked about this 12-year criminal career. So then we get all of these reports now on how some people, and I remember when we had a business, we would do that. We would take, print pictures and things like that of these people who would always come in and steal. You know who they were straight away. Well, that's now illegal. You're not allowed to even print out pictures. Let's say you've got CCTV, you see someone steal. You're not allowed to even print their picture and put it in the side room of your business so that your staff can see. That is against their human rights. Gosh, human rights again. Photographs of suspected shoplifters should not be displayed in stores in any location in case of a breach of data protection laws and their human rights and all these other things. The ICO said putting up images of thieves in a local area may not be appropriate behavior. It warns you against doing this. It says on its advice page for how to tackle shoplifting that you need to report it to the police. Don't try and stop them. Don't get involved. And only provide information that's appropriate and necessary to achieve your purpose. What, like identifying them, warning other people about these shoplifters? Maybe that might help with achieving the purpose. Sharing images in this way gives access to those who don't have the authority to see those images or take any action. So we do not have the authority, according to the government. Well, I think that backfired a little bit this week. I want to come back to this, but did you see the video on X? I would be very interested to know. Please drop in the comments. I saw it and I thought this was great. People are not going to like the fact I've just said that. But what happened? Well, there was a man. In fact, I wasn't. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Come on, let's share this. Where is it? Okay, here it was. There was a man, and as you can see, that blur is there for a reason. I've muted this because we can't even play the sound. He was half naked on the tube, and the British have pretty much had enough. We are fed up with seeing this all the time, told we can't do anything. We're just, we are can't do anything about this situation. Well, guess what happened? The British people on the tube decided enough is enough, and they had enough after this guy got violent with them. So that was pretty much, and these aren't one group of guys. These are just random. I think two of them were together. One was on his own, another one was on his own, and then an off-duty cop stepped in. Well, firstly, why did an off-duty police officer have to step in only when this guy had received a beating? Why didn't he step in? That's my question. And then they literally threw him off, pinned him down and waited for the police to come. Now, you would say, oh, well, that's probably a good thing because there was women, there was kids all around, and he's acting aggressive and he's swearing at everyone, he's swinging his stuff around. No one wants to see that. You would say, well, fair play, though that was justice done. No. Here's the latest update as of 2 hours ago. The vigilantes have now been interviewed by police after taking the law into their own hands when a London Underground passenger accidentally exposed himself. I honestly can't believe what I'm reading. So British Transport Police have quizzed these individuals. They have interviewed these individuals, and now they are looking to take action against them, say that they can't allow vigilantes. There was a police officer on the tube off duty who could have done something about it, didn't. I say fair play to the vigilantes for actually finally doing something about this, because this is just non-stop. It's going on all the time. I don't condone the sort of what actually took place, but sometimes you just got to do something. You got to take some actions. And now I think that more men have seen this. They'll get a bit more confident in that they can step in sometimes when a lot of events are taking place, rather than having that fear that they're going to be arrested. It's absolutely terrible. So they said that they're still searching for I think it's the fourth man at the moment. They're still... Hold on. How is it? Here's another question. How is it that when something serious takes place, that you can't... You know, it's difficult to get a police officer. And now, when something like this happens, the whole force is on the case to try and track down these four men. It is unbelievable to me. It really is. Anyone who witnessed what happened and hasn't already spoken to police needs to contact the British Transport Police. It gives you all the details and what you need to do. It's crazy, my friends. It's absolutely crazy. Let's get back into the shoplifting stuff, because I've got to tell you this story. This is a lady that went to... In fact, before that, as always, got to do a little promo on every video here. I don't know if you've taken my rapid cash flow program yet. If you haven't, highly recommend actually taking a look at that program, because the question I always say to people is, what if you could leave your 9-to-5 job or not, create an additional side hustle and build up extra cash flow in the next 30 days? And I always ask people, is that something you'd be interested in? Most people will say yes, very rarely say no. And really, I think with the situation that we're in now, with this economy, it's very important not just to have one stream of income. I really, really think that, because, you know, you work hard and your income is taxed and it's capped, and now it's about to get taxed even heavier. I'm going to do another video. I'm going to record it tomorrow morning, actually, because I've just been doing some research today on what's actually happening, and I don't think people are ready for what's coming to pensions, what's coming to savings, what's coming to all the other things. There is a new draconian law that's passed. It hasn't come into force yet, but I'll cover that. I'll release that video tomorrow, probably lunchtime UK time. But it's draconian what they're about to do with bank accounts and savings accounts. And it's really, really terrifying, actually, what the British government are doing, because they need to plug this huge black hole. But yeah, it's a step-by-step guide. It's a really simple program. I've had people 80 years old actually email in who've taken that program and say, even they understood it. It was really simple to implement, teaches you about how to create online businesses, even online side hustles, even small side hustles. So check it out in the description below anyway. I want to get back onto the shoplifters, because now they're saying that all of this breaks data protection, and we've got all the stats here. The stats are crazy. This bar here, which this is showing what is happening right now. It's spiking massively. And I know that it's very difficult to do anything about it. It really is. I really feel for anyone who has a brick and mortar business now where you have a shop. I think it's tough, really tough, because you can't do a lot about it. You're taxed to the eyeballs, and then you're taxed on your tax, and then there's all these other taxes. Then you have situations with employees and all the other things now. It's very difficult. And then if you get gangs or shoplifters or shoplifting gangs, they're even worse, you can't do anything about it. And they say, claim off your insurance and all this other stuff, which don't even pay out. I remember when we had a really big window smashed, and it was around £2,000 to replace it, and it was again, your typical, I won't describe it, but you know exactly the sort of person it was. Shouldn't have been in the country. Just smashed the window, kicked the window, and then grabbed what was it? It was like a metal thing that he grabbed with a really small point on the end. So as soon as he hit it into the window, it shattered. Nothing you can do. The glass is shattered. Anyway, £2,000 it cost. That's what the quote was by the glass replacement company. Insurance company said they wouldn't pay out. They wouldn't pay out on it. Said, oh, you didn't get the right glass cover. It didn't cover for this guy who, all this nonsense. So I feel for people. But anyway, this guy we're talking about here, Mr. Tice added that shopkeepers should be able to put up signs and have the right to say, it's my shop and I determine who comes into it. But of course, he's left himself open now to leftist attacks like you've never seen. So they're calling him racist, sexist, ageist. There's all these other words because he simply said, it's up to me and I determine who can come into my shop. So they found a way to attack him, of course. He didn't mean that. What he meant was, he meant these shoplifters. He didn't mean all these other things that they're just attacking him on. It's so sad. 3 thefts per minute now are being reported in Britain. It says most go uninvestigated. So if 3 are reported, just think how many actually. Okay, here we go. Look at that. There was his sign. That's all he did. That's all it was. And that was what happened to him. Yikes, 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 yikes. British businesses are losing at the moment £1.8 billion to theft each year, and 700 million is spent on security. It's not just, I saw this one as well, I printed this off today. This is Germany. Germany's got it even worse, and their crime stats are even worse than the UK. But I read this story today, and it was about a lady that was shopping in her local Waitrose supermarket, and she saw a man putting 3 bottles, big bottles of gin into his backpack. So she challenged him and said, put the bottles back. And he threatened her. Pretty nasty stuff, I will add. So she went and reported security. And the security said, we're not allowed to do anything about it. We're not allowed, it's company policy, to even stop the guy. So they just let him go. But when she walked outside, he was waiting for her. He attacked her. And she went back in to speak to the manager, and she said he offered me no support, empathy or care, and she was just told, well, it's your own fault, you shouldn't have got involved with him and these shoplifters, you're supposed to just leave them. And she said, well, can you at least helping me with my shopping, some of it's damaged and whatever. And the manager said, no, we can't do that. And I just thought afterwards, why is it this okay for someone to steal the shopping, but when this lady tried to do the right thing and her shopping got damaged, her groceries, if you're outside the UK, why would he not replace those? You see what a twisted, warped world we're living in now, when all of this is going on all the time. It's very sad, ladies and gents, very sad indeed. And please drop your comments below. I'll be reading them. I want to know what you think of all of this. But I do think that the Brits have had enough. I think especially the men, actually the women as well, people have had enough of what is going on, and I guarantee it, you're going to see a lot of changes happening soon. We're going to see a lot going on this summer, as the government said, a summer of chaos or protest. No, they actually said a summer of riots, even though it's protest, but anyway, they just want to antagonize. You're going to see it continuing on, but next summer will be even worse. The summer after will be even worse. People are reaching boiling point, and with the hot weather, you get some sort of flared tempers. People start to lose it a little bit. So let me know your thoughts. If you're watching outside the UK, I'd also love to know what you think of everything going on. Thank you so much for being a subscriber here. Really appreciate it. Take care. God bless. I'll see if I can get a couple of videos out tomorrow with everything going on. Very busy. See ya.